Sorry, what time, when you say you start in the morning, what time do you start in the morning? What time do you start in the morning?
You're kind of breaking up.
Sorry, I said, what time do you start driving in the morning?
Around 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, 8 o'clock. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I usually stop around maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So,
Oh.
I haven't been able to get too many, customers
Okay.
for rides. And it seems like the main area in Green Bay is, where the stadium is and I guess a little bit of downtown. But that's the areas that I'm hanging out at. I know, like, the tourists only come here mainly when there's a game.
Right.
Besides that, they leave after, maybe once the game's over, the next day they'll leave. So,
Okay.
but I don't know what do you think are the best ways to try to get business?
Here are a couple of factors, right? How far are you from the airport?
I'm
10
10 minutes.
minutes, okay. You may, if you switch it around a bit, and I don't know if this fits into your schedule, but let's say you try out a different pattern, right? So like, let's say Friday and Saturday, today and tomorrow, you should definitely be doing the after 6 o'clock shift. In fact, let's say after work, you should be in the business area around about 4 or 5, so at least you get some business trips back, people after work, and then maybe take a little rest and then fire it up around about 7:30 when people go out to dinner to restaurants. And it should be busy all the way through to 2 o'clock if you in the entertainment areas. The same goes for Saturday, right? So what I'm sort of hearing is you're in a slot where the 8 o'clock slot, it truly starts dying down. What's very, very busy is like 5 to 8, right? Because you get some airport trips, and it pays off going a little bit further away from the airport, maybe to a hotel area where there's a couple of hotels, because early in the mornings, you will find that you will always be driving people from the hotels back to the airport. So sometimes what I do is like I'll switch off, and you say you're 10 minutes to the airport, I would head 10 minutes north or wherever it may be to a hotel area, and then switch on and then catch a nice 20, 30-minute ride to the hotel, right? So if you could try and fit in a couple of trips between, the 6 to 8 o'clock slot, then by then they're starting to work, it dies down quickly. You're probably getting a little bit frustrated between that 8 to 11 time slot. You're probably picking up a little bit around noon when a couple of people are going and doing meetings and business lunches. Then it dies down again, and then it picks up again after lunch. Generally speaking, anywhere around colleges, when they're done for the day, they'll head out, university or colleges. As far as events go, if you look at your entire events calendar, not just, box yourself in on sports events, but music events, any big venue, even if it's a little bit 10, 15 minutes in the opposite direction, you want to make sure that you have your 30-day calendar filled out. You can go on StubHub.com or a couple of websites, just fill out your calendar to see sort of what's happening in the 9 to 12 o'clock at night period, because usually a lot of these events end like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and that's when it gets really busy. Now, the Friday and Saturday night after 12, have the people had more drinks? Yes, of course they have. Are they a little bit more problematic? Yes, they are. But that's generally when it starts surging and when you make money. And what you can do throughout the day, like even if sticking to your 8 to 6 o'clock time slot because you want to get hours in, you may want to, every 30 minutes or so, just take screenshots of the city and see where it surges and then compare one day to the next, because once you identify a pattern when and where there's demand, you can sort of always position yourself. Oh yeah, so I know at around 12 o'clock it usually gets busy in this area, so let me head off 5 minutes in this direction and catch that wave, right? So you become an expert at sort of like predicting surges, just identifying when and where it becomes busy. You know, that doesn't happen overnight. That happens over a 2 to 4 week period. You get better and better at it. And then with a combination, I think, of trying out different time slots and really capitalizing on music and sports events. And, you know, if you have $30, set it aside, print some business cards, put your face on the business card, your car on the business card, and hand them out. Every time you've had a super trip with someone, you feel like you've really connected with them. You know, say, oh, by the way, if you ever need a trip to the airport, if you need to be picked up from the airport, if you have friends or business associates going to the airport, here's my card, right? And you just put it out there, because I tell you what, over a 3-year period, I probably have built up 80 repeat clients, and they keep me so super busy, and I'm only getting long trips from them. So, you know, that's not a short-term investment. That's, you know, over 1 year, you will start seeing a lot of those benefits that people will get back to you. Just like when I was driving in Vegas for a short while, I handed out cards, and regulars that were coming in for conventions or business meetings or just for fun would constantly call me, you know. So the business cards, I can tell you, they work, but only with the people that you feel like you've really had a connection with, you know. Just don't like hand it out randomly. Just anybody that you feel like you've had an enjoyable conversation, that respects you, that likes you, and vice versa. You know, oh, here's my card. You know, just let me know in advance if you need a trip. You know, they can then, you get to the location, they can then book, you accept. And a lot of these people don't advertise, but a lot of these people will say, hey, can you drive me privately? You know, just don't freely promote, and let them ask you, you know. But it works. So, and check in with me every now and again, you know, text me and say, hey, you know what, I'm in this predicament, I'm in this situation, what would you do, right? But I think collecting some data for you could be crucial right now. You know, if that makes sense. Just collect. Go ahead, sorry.
I just got approved also for Lyft.
You did? Fantastic. Okay, so then...
Yes, today. I just got approved today.
Fantastic. So what you will then also, it's good that you mentioned that, because what you will see is, as you have both apps on, right, and you've got to pay close attention to this. Let's say the Lyft app goes off, obviously immediately you switch off the Uber app, right? The moment you've dropped the person off, you switch on both the apps. But what you will see in a 2 to 4 week time period, you will see like, hey, you know what? On Friday and Saturday nights, it pays to leave Lyft off and leave Uber on, because it's just higher demand in peak hours and higher paying rides. So it doesn't, you can compare a Lyft Uber combination on a Saturday night to an Uber just a strictly Uber you know, a drive on a Saturday night, and you can compare the money, what you made in a 5 or 6 or 7 hour slot. It's like day or night, right? So that's when it like truly pays off, leaving Lyft off. If you ever stuck in an area, the drive takes you somewhere and you're sitting there and it's not a busy area, of course you switch both on, because you just want to get a ride out of that situation, you know, out of that area. So it becomes like you'll finesse it and you'll figure it out when it truly works, switching the one on and the one off, or keeping them both on. And really, you know, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was going to ask you, you know, like the city, the Uber Eats, what do you suggest on that? Do you do that?
Look, Uber Eats is a fantastic addition with very little headaches, right? Because the bottom line is you get the order, you pick up the order, and usually there's some tip associated with dropping off the order, right? So it's a good tipping platform. It'll consistently, if you work it out over a month, it'll make you X amount of dollars per hour. So once you know, if you dedicate like, okay, an hour or two to Eats, right, and you're driving the combination of trips and you're doing Eats, you can quickly figure out, okay, I spent 30 minutes on that. What did it bring me money-wise, right? And then you start comparing apples and oranges to see, hey, you know, should I do more Eats on a Friday, Saturday night because it's busy, or should I? What what category are you driving in, if I may ask? Are you driving in Uber X?
X, yes.
In X, okay. And what car do you have?
I have a Ford Focus with a hatchback.
Okay, what model is it? I mean, what year?
2012.
Okay. So yeah, you probably have a couple of good years left. Is it clean? Is it clean on the inside and outside?
Yes, it is.
And you have like you have auxiliary cord, and you have chargers on board. You don't necessarily have to have waters on board. Maybe mints. Do you have like some mints or so? They're very inexpensive, like $2 for icebreakers or something like that. Do you?
I don't have that. I could get that.
So I wouldn't spend in X. I wouldn't spend the money on waters or anything like that.
Okay.
Just the very, maybe just those green and blue icebreakers. If the people ask you, may I take one? Yeah, certainly. Anything that if you're adding or giving them value, that doesn't cost you anything. It costs you like 2 cents, 3 cents. Do you know what I mean? But they feel like they're getting something, and then the percentage of them giving back in form of tips increases. So you really figure out after a while. That's why I say just check in with me and say, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think I should be doing this, or should I leave that out? I can give you good data based on experience and history, and also from all my other drivers. So I have meetings every Tuesday. We get a lot of data, and I can just pass that on in some form or other to you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. So yeah, try out, be nice, 30 seconds, first 30 seconds. Hey, how was your dinner? How was your evening? Hey, you guys look great tonight. You look all dressed up. Where are you heading to? Get some data. You get tourists in town. How long are you in town for? What have you seen? Here's my card if you need to go to this event or that or this attraction, so you really want to communicate and talk when you feel like it's possible. Look, if they're on the phone and the laptop and they're tired and they're sighing in the back seat, you just back off and let them rest, right? But anybody that jumps in the front seat with you, they usually want to have a conversation. Anyone that'll, reach how's your day going, that's an invite to talk right there and then. My day, my day is going awesome. I did, so yeah, you just keep the ratings high, because high ratings do result in better tips percentage wise. And maybe, just add a little something in your car. Add some mints. You don't have to add those small waters. Just add some mints. Never add chewing gum. It'll end up under your seat or the carpet. And try.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, you'll find out the hard way, unfortunately. Cool. All right, and stay in touch. Wherever I can help, I'll help. I can assure you that.
I definitely will, and I appreciate your help, and just the little sticker number.
Yeah, and by the way, those screenshots are so valuable. Just because you want to make the screen a little smaller. You want to see the suburbs, and you want to see where it's lighting up red or pink with Lyft, so that you consistently see time and area patterns, right? In that area, at that time, it usually surges. Why? Okay, it could be downtown, and it's the business day is over. It's 4 or 5 o'clock. So when you consistently figure out where and when it's surging, it'll make you a lot of more extra money. Okay, cool.
Lately, it seems like the area where most of the drivers are at, which is near the stadium, because there's a lot of hotels in this area, but I find to get more business when I'm away from this area, when I'm kind of in the area by myself.
Yes, if you... that makes perfect sense. But what I'm saying, like on a Friday or Saturday night where it's just insanely busy, you could load up with many cars. You're just going to be busy, right? Because, a Friday or a Saturday night is money-making time. I mean, you could make more on a Friday and a Saturday night than 3 or 4 other days combined if you work effectively. So it doesn't matter if there are a lot of cars loading up on a Saturday night at 11, 12 in a specific area. You're going to be busy because the people are partying, the people are going out. But yes, you're absolutely right. You're right. If there's too many cars chasing a surge, it very often pays to be in a completely different space where, you're a big, you're a big fish in a small pond. You're not swimming around with 100 other fish.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I find out. Like during the day, it's better if I'm on myself. I'm getting more business than when I'm with a bunch of other drivers.
Yes.
I'm not really getting nothing at all. That's usually during the day.
And you know what? Take notes. I mean, just take notes. Even if you take a few little written notes that you can page back to. Tuesday I tried this and this and this. This worked for me. This didn't work for me. Wednesday I did this and this. This worked for me. This. And then, next Tuesday, suddenly you see, okay, if the same pattern emerges, obviously there's a pattern there, right? That something is working for you, right? On a Friday and Saturday night, in LA or Vegas or other cities or like Scottsdale or Hawaii where I've driven, I know exactly down to a T what happens between 6 o'clock at night and 3 o'clock in the morning. I just like absolutely maxed it out that I can get the maximum amount of dollars in that 6 to 8 hour period, right? And you'll truly figure out where and when to make the most money. And I would try the 5 to 8 o'clock shift. Look, we don't like getting up at 5, but by 8 o'clock, you've already put 3 hours in. You've probably made more in those 3 hours than you would have made in the next 5 hours from 8 till 1. Do you know what I mean? So, and then and then you might just say, hey, between 8 and 8 and 1 in the afternoon, I might want to do some other stuff or study or work on other things because I've already put in a 3 or 4 hour shift, and then I'll put in another 3 or 4 hours in the evening. So mix it up a little bit. Cool.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Awesome. And text. Just text. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I said just text if you have questions. Go ahead.
If I'm going to be traveling, like say, down to Milwaukee, which is a bigger city, because I'm going to be taking a flight actually to San Antonio in a couple of weeks. But I'm going to be working in Milwaukee, maybe a couple of days before I fly out. Would you advise that?
Well, what you want to do there is obviously, like with Uber, you'd have to ask for a transfer and then be sort of registered in 2 cities. With Lyft, they truly don't care. I mean, you could switch on anywhere and everywhere, right? But, there are, I know that some cities have roaming rights. So, for example, I can go from LA all the way down to Orange County without any problems and back, which is a huge area. And vice versa, that people registered in Orange County can roam. So, they do have large roaming areas where you could talk to the hub and find out, where the cutoff boundaries are. But, generally speaking, if you're traveling in that, you do well with Lyft because, there's literally no, as long as you logged in with that car, and that car, you might have a car in Scottsdale registered and another car in LA. As long as the paperwork is fine, they will let you drive that vehicle,
I see. Okay.
And Lyft, unfortunately, you don't get much feedback. There's not much of a support line. You can text through the app. Yes, they'll answer it eventually. With Uber, if you get a green light hub or a hub, you can just go down there and just spend 30 minutes and get a lot of valuable information from the front desk, right?
Right. I did that already too, a couple days ago.
And if you feel like the person is not really helping, you just say, do you mind if I speak to a manager? Usually they've worked longer, and sometimes you'll get a person at the front desk who just started the job a week ago and truly doesn't know anything. I've experienced that in LA quite a few times. But they can, I think the Uber Hub could give you some really, really good info. And then also join your Uber and Lyft rooms of your area on Facebook. Because once you're in that room, you can just read those posts and you can gather so much knowledge from those posts. The people will say, hey, have you realized this and this is going on, or this is a new spot, everyone's there. They share a lot of information. It's like a huge family. They share the information very, very openly on Facebook. So go join a Facebook group for your city and join a Lyft group, and you'll get a lot of valuable information there.
I will do that, definitely.
Cool.
I'm actually from LA.
Oh, you are?
I moved over here to Wisconsin. I'm from, do you know Montebello?
Yes, absolutely. Wow, awesome. Awesome. I'm out in Calabasas, Hidden Hills area, Calabasas. Yeah, cool. So you know the city well. Yeah, just like I said, just text me anytime. And if there's any uncertainty or you need some clarification on something, you know, just you know, I can always give you my 25 cents of advice. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great help.
You're welcome. Drive safe out there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye. Take good care. Thank you, man. Cheers. Bye.